Like a vampire, I don't need to know you. Come with me, I'll show you. You can find me backstage, I'm a party with a Nicolas Cage. Girl, I want that body, you know you got a body like Nicolas Cage. You ain't gotta be scared, you ain't gotta be afraid, baby. It's just you and me alone tonight with Nicolas Cage.
Welcome back to Late Night Cage Fight. This is technically our first episode of Season 4. If you haven't noticed, we have not been as active lately on the channel. We are going to be kind of reeling back a bit and changing the format of Late Night Cage Fight. We do want to continue producing content because this is the Cageverse we're talking about, and Nicolas Cage never dies in our hearts and in our minds. And also the fact that he is continuing to do some very interesting projects in the near future. So why would we kill Late Night Cage Fight? That's just not good for anybody, right, Sean?
Exactly. That's, we need to keep the Cageverse going and spreading the gospel of our great Lord, Nicolas Cage.
Thank you. And Sean was one of our best prayer warriors here in the Cageverse, and I appreciate you coming by.
I am a certified Cage Paladin.
Oh my God, you really did get a promotion. Good for you.
After you've seen Season of the Witch over 100,000 times, then the title is officially bestowed upon you from the Council of Cages.
Yeah, that should be watched every October. Season of the Witch. One of the best witch films, featuring virtually zero witches. But Nic Cage is in it and kicks some demon ass. We also did a Season of the Witch episode, so go ahead and listen to that this Halloween season. Maybe we should do something cool for Halloween. We actually haven't talked about it. But today...
Maybe I can finally watch Ghost Rider, because as a massive Marvel fan, it's kind of weird I have never seen those.
I haven't either. That's an idea. That's an idea, Sean. Well, tonight we're talking about Bad Lieutenant, Port of Call, New Orleans from 2009. Pretty epic.
Rolls right off the tongue.
Doesn't it? Yeah. We thought this was a remake. It's actually technically not a remake. It's kind of like a reworking of another film called Bad Lieutenant from 1992, starring Harvey Keitel. I don't think the other one was New Orleans, but this takes place in New Orleans, and he's not a very good detective. He is good, but he's got some drug issues, some gambling issues. He probably should not be a working detective, especially in a post-Katrina New Orleans time where it's easy to take advantage of folks. He's just all around not a good guy.
He probably should not have a residence near a school after some of what he does in the movie.
Yeah, and interestingly, this was directed by Werner Herzog, which was a surprise. Stars Nicolas Cage, Eva Mendes, Val Kilmer plays another detective. Exhibit is in this as a gangster. We have Fairuza Balk. I recognize her from other films, but yeah, she plays Heidi, a motorcycle cop, right? Or am I confusing her with the Silent Hill movie? I bring up Silent Hill in like every episode. I just have to, I guess.
Is that Stifler's mom that's also in this movie?
Jennifer Coolidge plays Genevieve, an aggrieved girlfriend.
Denzel Washington?
No. You're thinking Denzel Whitaker?
Denzel Whitaker, sorry.
Yeah.
I can't read.
Wow.
I'm actually illiterate.
They should have done like a like a Bad Lieutenant Training Day crossover. That would have been epic. Nic Cage and Denzel. Oh, man. But no, instead we get something not quite as impactful, but you do get to see Nic Cage completely unhinged, which is the point of the Bad Lieutenant, to see him lose control of himself as he descends into drug use and police brutality, like raping people even. It's always a treat. It's always a treat to have to say that. What's that?
and raping people and making their partners watch.
Oh yeah.
While
of course,
something that cops never do. Of course,
no. I mean, I've never seen them.
It's I describe this movie kind of like Leaving Las Vegas, but with a career.
That's right. He leaves his job at the beginning of Leaving Las Vegas. It's also somehow not as depressing. Right? I mean...
Surprisingly.
Yeah. Although it does seem to have kind of like an equal amount of messed up shit in it.
Yeah.
But it also... It does drag. We say this a lot in our reviews, but I did feel like the plot gets boring, kind of bogged down. And it opens with... it's a murder case in New Orleans, and he's the lead detective put on the job, right? He's just got a promotion to lieutenant. And then this family, the entire family is murdered over some kind of drug deal gone wrong, we assume. And Terrence McDonough is Nic Cage's character. He's in charge of the investigation. But you find out that Eva Mendes is his girlfriend, who also happens to be like really into drugs and a hooker. And yeah, it just gets nuts. What did you think about it?
Yeah.
I've seen this movie probably 3 or 4 times. I don't know if I've ever really watched it with complete attention on trying to remember everything that's happening in it. Because it's like you watch it the first time and you realize there's a couple good scenes. But a lot of it's just like meandering.
Yeah, I mean, it really is just another Cage movie where he is just playing kind of a piece of shit,
Right.
dude that's just kind of going crazy, doing whatever the fuck he wants, and, doesn't really care about hurting people near him or,
Yeah.
Yeah, I forgot what I was going to say. Sorry.
Well, was it what you expected?
It was pretty much what I expected going into this. I mean, I definitely thought that, he did pretty good in this movie. I thought that the supporting cast was pretty solid overall, and I mean, it did drag, like you said, towards the end a bit, but I thought overall, for the most part, it was pretty, it was paced relatively well.
Okay. Well, now, as our resident New Orleans specialist, Sean, did it feel like this was New Orleans to you?
I definitely think that it had that New Orleans flavor to it, especially, a lot of the scenes, I mean, were filmed there, obviously.
Yeah.
Or, I mean, I'm assuming they weren't sets or anything, but, and it was kind of interesting placing it in that post-Katrina New Orleans because, that was a really big issue there at the time, and I'm sure that it really caused a lot of additional crime to happen there. Yeah, but I continue to find it interesting just how many Cage films take place in New Orleans. I mean, with it being, one of my favorite places to visit. I'm always delighted to be reminded of my time there.
Yeah. Well, the character that stuck out to me, who doesn't have a whole lot of screen time, was actually Val Kilmer's character. Stevie Pruitt. And it's just weird seeing Val Kilmer and Nicolas Cage in a scene together for some reason, for me at least. But Val Kilmer did his thing, and I thought that he was good. But he was a side character, so had to leave him and go back to Nicolas Cage, gone wild, so to speak.
I do like the scene at the beginning that kind of sets the stage for his behavior, because the scene at the beginning where they're trying to arrest some guy, I forget why, but and he's stuck in this rising water,
right?
And he's asking for them to pull him out of the water, and Nicolas Cage is just like, oh, I don't want to fuck up my clothes, and but he does end up going in and getting him,
right? So
maybe he's not all bad.
Yeah you start to question, maybe he is a good guy at heart, but as the film progresses, you kind of question that often. Yeah, I mean, he gets into cocaine. Is a big thing for he and his girlfriend. I feel like if you are a real thriller mystery fan, this movie kind of it goes overboard, so to speak. Like it goes off the rails in terms of evidence and trying to fit the pieces together, because Nicolas Cage's character is going off the rails, and instead of focusing on the case, he wants to steal drugs from the evidence room and like we said, sexually assault people at night. For me, I started to question what his true motivations were. Was it just he just wanted to get blasted for as long as possible?
Yeah, because it's like eventually you have to do your job.
Right. Yeah. And then
wondering if that's just a commentary on police officers in general.
Sure. And you can also question, was it just the scenario of being post-Katrina that enabled all of these people, especially police, to become corrupt? Or was it just that this guy, Terrence McDonough, this is just who he was? A self-destructive asshole who let power get to him.
Yeah, I mean, towards the middle of the movie, they really go into where he really starts to lose it, and he's hallucinating. Starts seeing, wasn't it like an iguana?
Yeah, the iguanas. So whenever you hear Cage Fighter Steve mention iguanas, it's from this film, because when we watched this the first couple times, that's what we remember. We remember the iguanas, and we remember the oxygen tank scene with the old lady, right?
Yeah.
He's trying to find the grandson of this woman, and she is a caretaker for this rich old lady in a care home, and there's a scene where he removes the lady's oxygen, kind of like taking her hostage for the caretaker to give him info, and it's like it's an intense one because the woman is suffocating.
Yeah,
and it's Nic Cage, you know.
Yeah, both scenes in the nursing home were pretty shocking.
Yeah, there's some shock factor, right?
Yeah. And I'm pretty sure that the directors put a camera on top of a crocodile at some point,
right? And just let it walk.
Yep.
Yeah. And then, like, spoilers, we find out that Exhibit's character, Big Fate, he's like kind of a mob boss, right? He's the one in the end that was responsible for this murder. You remember that?
Yeah.
And Nic Cage, at that point of the film, this is pretty close to the end, but he's like, "Well, that's cool. I just want to join up with you. Let's become a team." So the movie just does like a complete 180 by the end. You know, that's what I'm saying. If you're a mystery fan, you're going to be disappointed in this one.
Yeah.
But
yeah, and I mean, at that point, he already, got his gun taken away and everything.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Typical, give me your badge and your gun.
Yeah. This movie also had kind of a low budget feel to it. Don't you think?
Yeah, I could see that.
Let's see. I don't know what the budget was.
I know that the director of the original Bad Lieutenant was not very happy about them making I know we said it's not really a remake, but kind of a sequel / remake.
Well, why not, Sean?
So I don't know if I'm saying this right, but Abel Ferreira, was the director of the original Bad Lieutenant from 1992.
Yeah,
and he was quoted of saying, "As far as remakes go, I wish these people would die in hell. I hope they're all in the same streetcar and it blows up." And then,
oh my god.
Yeah,
he
and
did
then,
have an opinion. That's for sure.
Yeah. And they asked him about Herzog, and he said that I've never seen a film by him, and he had no idea who he was. But then when asked comment, Herzog then said, "I'd like to meet the man. I have a feeling that if we met and talked over a bottle of whiskey, I think it would straighten everything out."
Oh.
Yeah.
He wants to make amends, huh?
Yeah.
I wonder if it's about the money. Look, man, I'll give you some of the money. Just say you like it. This might be the only film like this that Werner Herzog has directed. It just seems like a standout, unique kind of flavor looking at his filmography. I could be wrong.
Unfortunately, it does look like this movie was actually a pretty big failure in the box office, because the budget was 25 million and it only made back 10.6 million.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh man. Well, can't win them all, I guess.
So, needless to say, I don't think we'll be getting a third Bad Lieutenant movie.
Who would play the role today, you know? I just... Yeah, they call it a black comedy. And I mean, it does have its comedic moments. But it deals with some scary stuff. A whole family's murdered at the beginning, and you see their lifeless bodies. And then it kind of gets out there a little bit when, like you said, with the iguanas. And there's like a sing-songy part, too. I don't know, man. It's a trip. Bad Lieutenant, Port of Call, New Orleans.
I definitely think it's, it's worth a watch if you're a Cage fan. Right. I know we haven't really gotten to the aughts yet in his filmography, but and it was nice getting to watch this with the whole Cage crew.
Yeah, that's right. So I recently took a trip back home to Ohio, and it was super nice. I invited a bunch of my friends to come hang out with me at my family's farmhouse, and we actually had everyone who had ever appeared in Late Night Cage Fight was there. And we watched this together, among a couple other interesting selections. Non-Nic Cage. But this was the one Nic Cage. The funny thing is, so Cage Fighter Matt was there. I had not seen him in years, so it was a real treat to talk with him. And he watched this with us, and then everybody went to bed, and he watched another Nicolas Cage movie by himself. Did you know that?
Which one?
It was I believe it was the Taken ripoff, Stolen.
That one I have not seen.
That one, I kind of wish we would have watched that one, honestly. But
yeah.
Bad Lieutenant, at least we got through it. And I really wanted you to see it as a New Orleans fan to kind of get your take on it. And hopefully not have to watch this one again for a while.
Yeah, I think we have quite a few, going back to chronological order, that we'd watch before this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's certainly not one of his worst films, but I'd say it's kind of mid-grade, personally.
Yeah. And I think, this was kind of the era where he was starting to lose a bit of his popularity overall.
Okay.
I mean, the film he did after this was actually Astro Boy.
Oh, I like that one.
Right before this, he was also in G-Force.
You're right. Yeah. Wow, sandwiched in between G-Force and Astro Boy. Dude, on the tail of Knowing and Bangkok Dangerous. And those are both, like, epically bad movies that we have to watch. In fact, I would say from that era, next, Bangkok Dangerous, probably, definitely Knowing. Those three are like the trifecta of the what the fuck is Nic Cage doing now movies of that time. So have you seen those three? Next, Bangkok Dangerous, or Knowing?
I have not, no.
Dude, okay. Late Night Cage Fight fans, we figured it out. That's what's next.
I will say that the next one chronologically that we had to do was Snake Eyes, which I have seen some of.
Okay.
And I recall that was actually a movie growing up that my dad really enjoyed.
Really?
So I have caught quite a few.
Okay. Well, maybe we do then just kind of keep course if you want. We could do Snake Eyes versus 8mm. That seems like a natural cage fight to have. Definitely.
Yeah,
I just can't.
Then we would have Bringing Out the Dead, Gone in 60 Seconds.
Yeah, that's actually a really fun one.
The Family Man, and then Christmas Carol.
Christmas Carol and Captain...
Could be the Christmas cage fight matchup.
Yeah, I mean, now, going back that far, this is a really good era of the Cageverse. Yeah. Definitely. So I think we shouldn't skip these. You're right.
Yeah.
So why don't we plan on next, we will do a discussion of Snake Eyes versus 8mm. And then if there's something relevant to Halloween, we could plan for, like you said, a Ghost Rider Halloween release if you want.
Yeah.
And then we should also plan for... I think we should do a Christmas Carol. Well, that should be for Christmas.
Yeah.
But I was thinking Christmas Carol with Astro Boy, because they're both kids' movies. But then again, you have G-Force in there as well. So maybe we should do G-Force, Astro Boy, Christmas Carol, Christmas special.
Yeah.
So
there's also The Ant Bully.
That's right. Which I have on DVD. My grandmother was like, "Oh, you like Nicolas Cage? Here, I got you this." And I was like, "You are the best. You really are." Because I was going to have to spend probably $3 or $4 on a rental.
And I refuse to give Jeff Bezos $3.
Yeah. But, Steve had this idea for Kitty Cage. We were going to do kind of a, like with the Cageless. It was supposed to be not a sub show, but...
Yeah, more of a animated film focused.
Well, right.
Yeah.
But we would include our kids, so they could give reviews on how they felt about the kids' movies, which would be kind of cute. We could really ask them the tough questions.
Let us know if you would like us to bring Kitty Cage to life.
Yes, please send us a line. But finishing out Bad Lieutenant, I really don't have a lot to say about this one. Yeah,
honestly, I thought it was pretty solid. There were quite a few good scenes. Cage Fighter Reese, what is your favorite cage out from this?
My favorite cage out will always be in the old lady's apartment or whatever, when he removes the oxygen and it's just like, holy shit, he's really going to this level. And I just love his tone when he's talking to them. You know, it's like borderline sarcastic. It's just a genius scene. And the lady that is watching this, taking care of her, is just in such utter disbelief. Yeah, I like that one a lot.
Yeah.
What about you?
I think I'm probably with you, either that or just the scene where, you know, he forces himself on that couple just because that was so bizarre.
So uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And then he does he shoot the gun or does he just point the gun at the guy?
I think he just shoots it in the air or
right,
something.
which is just so ridiculous. Like, wouldn't that bring attention to you right there?
Yeah. I mean, you know, he's on cocaine, so I'm sure he's not.
But was she a prostitute that guy had paid for, or were they actually dating?
Yeah, I think that was it.
Yeah.
And he asked them if they have, you know, drugs.
Right.
Because he wants drugs.
Because he wants them. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow, New Orleans must be a wild place.
It is a trip, but honestly, there's a lot of cool stuff to do there.
Oh, yeah.
And I will find a way to see Nicolas Cage's tomb the next time I go, because both times I did not get a chance to go.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, we need a reporter.
Yeah, actually,
there.
the most recent time we went was, I think it was last year, December. Mm-hmm. And the company that does the tours, it was under a new owner, and they canceled our tour ticket, actually, because I guess because of COVID.
Okay.
Yeah, I was not happy.
I can imagine.
Because I made sure to plan time for that.
Did you like punch a random old lady or something to let your rage out?
Yeah, we immediately just went into the closest nursing home and just wham.
Yeah. I mean, maybe that's how you got to work it. You have to prove that you're worthy of seeing that tomb.
Only the most powerful cage fighters can can see the tomb. You need to at least have up to a level 5 on the voodoo skill tree to be able to get in.
Speaking of tomb, you know, we have a Tomb of Nic Cage. They were our cage lords.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was awesome.
Who are from New Orleans.
I know.
You know, when I was down there, they actually were putting on a Krampus parade.
Oh, yeah?
And I unfortunately didn't get a chance to go, but it sounded pretty cool.
That's cool. Well,
definitely check out New Orleans if you
plan
ever get a chance.
Yeah, if you plan another trip, let me know, because I might be able to swing it. I would love to have a Cagecation. I'd love to have a Cagecation in New Orleans and or Vegas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I did actually. Did I ever talk about when we went to Vegas?
You did.
Yeah.
You had an awesome time.
That was cool. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. I didn't have as much fun as Nicolas Cage did in leaving Las Vegas, but you know. If you're ever in Vegas, actually, and you are not into gambling, highly recommend checking a place called Area 15 out. It is by this art collective called Meow Wolf.
Okay.
And there's this art installation that they have there called Omega Mart. One of the coolest things I've ever gone to.
Yeah.
It's essentially this like bizarro grocery store, and all of the you can actually buy like some of the stuff there, but a lot of it is just like kind of like weird like just weird products that are kind of like novelty. Like they have like Hammer soda and like carrots that have like faces and like tattooed turkey.
That sounds like my kind of place. You feel like you're in a movie or something, or a dream.
Yeah. And like all the employees just act like super weird when you go there, and you open up the freezer section and it opens up this like whole like big back area where it's like this big like neon cavern, and then you go to like a factory floor and you go to these offices, and there's like in computer terminals of like people that worked at the company that own the store, and like it kind of like tells this meta story of this bizarro company.
That's so cool.
And it's really awesome. Actually, if you're familiar with film theory, they did an episode, I believe, on Omega Mart.
Oh, okay.
It's super cool.
Wow.
Definitely one of the highlights of my Vegas trip.
And I mean, there's
sure.
got to be other places like that in Vegas too. You know what I mean? That you can stumble upon. And,
I mean, there's a ton of really cool things to do there for people that don't gamble. I mean, you can. One thing that I wanted to check out, but I didn't get a chance to, but they have a Coca-Cola shop there, and you can actually get a flight of Coca-Cola from different countries.
Okay.
So they'll have like weird flavors that you can only get in like just random ass countries.
That's so cool, and the taste varies.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd heard that before.
Yeah.
Wow. Let's go to Vegas. Let's do it. I'm just kind of scared. Like if we actually took the whole Late Night Cage Fight crew, the legacy members, I think it would be a disaster. We'd have to strategize. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it would be fun.
Yeah.
Well, the theme of Bad Lieutenant, I'm just gonna go out on a limb and say it's iguanas. It's the iguanas.
Yep. Never trust lizards.
Never.
Lizards are not real.
They're not real. Birds are not real. What else? Dinosaurs were never real. People are just putting bones together in any way that they can and making up fantasy creatures.
Yeah, to test our faith.
Yes.
In Cage.
Yeah. I hate that. I mean, it's plain as day. We have like over 95 films now that are all testament to the greatness of Nicolas Cage, and yet people still want to question how the universe was created, how the Cageverse was created. It's very frustrating, but that's why we do this.
So Cage is Lord.
Yeah.
And Cage also spent several $1 million on a dinosaur skeleton. Coincidence? You tell me.
Well, this has been a short episode, but that's kind of what I wanted to do, was just kind of lightly jump back in to the podcasting of the Nicolas Cageless. I appreciate your time, Sean. I hope you out there enjoyed this little crash course on Bad Lieutenant. You should definitely check it out if you haven't. It's an interesting one. Any final thoughts, Sean?
Definitely check this one out. It's I wouldn't say it's one of his best, but it's the kind of character that I think Cage plays very well.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
Very sure. If you're a fan of bombastic Cage, then this has some good nuggets in there for you.
Very well put. If you're also a drug fan, it's probably interesting for you. Yeah. All right. Well, until next time, keep listening, keep following, liking, subscribing. Late Night Cage Fight. We will have some more content for you coming soon, and we're excited about that. Thank you again, and Cage out.
Nice.